Today, we're taking a trip back to 1936, the year of the first ever AP Top 25 poll, which started and ended with Minnesota in the top spot. Minnesota was also awarded the national championship in 1934 and 1935, making them one of 5 teams to ever win 3 in a row. Today I'll be attempting to replicate the first ever poll, at least the top 3, which saw Minnesota, LSU, and Pittsburgh up the top. Now this is no easy task, but I'm confident that I can recreate this historic moment in college football history. So sit back, grab some snacks, and let's see if history can repeat itself in NCAA 14. Crowe Stupid Experiments! But g'day fellas and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I'm the coach of all the teams we want to be in the top 3. The shit thing is Pittsburgh's the only school that's genuinely ranked here. So essentially what's going to happen is I'm going to be recruiting for all 3 teams, and I'm going to try and get Minnesota, LSU, and Pittsburgh 1, 2, and 3 in that order. I typically only rebuild controlling 1 team, and it's hard enough. Recruiting for 3 teams, this is gonna be ridiculous, and it's probably gonna take pretty long. So as for recruiting, I'm not really gonna show a lot of it. You guys might see the end results and things like that, pretty much mid-year and end-year, but let's try and replicate the 1936 first ever poll. All right, mid-season mark, let's see what's going on. Looks like we got some decent recruits there. Minnesota got some decent recruits, and Pittsburgh got nothing. And we're 4-4 at LSU. How? So far, LSU definitely has the best class. It's only 6 players, but every single one of them is high 70s. If you get dizzy recruiting with 1 team, try doing it with 3. It's so confusing. It really is confusing. Pittsburgh is 5-1, and Minnesota is 4-3, so it could be a little bit better. It also could be a lot worse. We just need LSU to pick it up here. See, that's how you don't get to rank 3 in the nation. You know what? I'm starting to think about it, and this might just be impossible. Okay, so not bad. Pittsburgh went 9-3 to start out. LSU went 6-6, which is not helping us. None of us are ranked. And Minnesota went 5-7. So I'll tell you what, even if we can't replicate it, it'll be very interesting looking at where we stacked up in terms of recruiting. Like imagine if we got the number 1, 2, and 3 class all back to back. We had a player from Pitt make it to the Heisman list. He got 3 first place votes, a little bit behind first. Not a lot though, only 422 votes. Of all the 3 teams we had, Pitt was the only one to make it into the top 25 to end the season. Okay, so LSU had the 4th best class, Minnesota had the 5th best class, so 2 top 5s, and then Pittsburgh in 16. All 3 of our classes were top 25. Pittsburgh's 90 overall at this very point, LSU's 88, and Minnesota's 83. Minnesota does really well, and then they randomly have these 35-point losses, and it's really just not helping the cause. This time around, LSU's rank, but Pittsburgh is not. Alright, so I recruited for everybody, but let's just say that Minnesota definitely got the most time out of all 3 teams. I figured because the other 2 are 5 stars, they could pretty much survive on their own. Like, look at the Pittsburgh, bro. This is just the off-season recruiting tab, and we signed a bunch of people. So did LSU. Minnesota, though, continues to struggle. Never mind. I got Minnesota the number 1 class. LSU down in 6th, but where is Pittsburgh at? Pittsburgh's down in 18th. They did not get a single 5-star. They go down to a 4-star prestige. I thought I did really well with LSU and Pittsburgh. I'm surprised Pittsburgh's class was so low. Regardless, we got Minnesota number 1, so that's a really good step in the right direction. LSU's going to start the season ranked, but that doesn't really do a whole lot for us. Minnesota's only a 3-star prestige, right? And they just don't get very good recruits. I'm sorry, I'm not knocking Minnesota at all, but I'm down to 7th interest and I have found 8 players. Patrick Barnes is the only player out of all 8 that remained a 70 and he still went down. This is a lost cause. How can you only give me 8 players over 70 overall to start the season and they all go down? Every single one of them. Oh, he committed? Nice. I'm with Minnesota at the moment, but we got the 2nd player in the nation signed to Pittsburgh in the 2nd week. That's massive. It doesn't get much bigger than that. 5-star quarterback here too. That's really going to help out Minnesota. Like, I'm almost emphasizing it here with Minnesota because they definitely need the most help. It doesn't really help that this is a pretty bad recruiting class. At least for Low Lock Cheese, it's pretty freaking miserable. There's the 5-star quarterback. He should at least be good. Everybody else seems to just be maintaining or going down. Hey, Harry Brown, that's a nice gem right there. The kicker goes down, receiver goes down, DT goes up. This is definitely not looking like a number 1 class, that's for sure. Chaz Benson going up 8 though. John Hubbard going up to a 77. Okay, maybe I spoke too quickly. Look at John Gooden. We have 2 quarterbacks here. Surely we can send one of them over to one of the other teams. I'll try and get John Gooden with Pittsburgh. That works out perfectly. The best of both worlds right there. 0-2. Man, Minnesota is really doing their best to wreck everything. Hey, back off, Pittsburgh. We need him in Minnesota, man. I'm also going after John Gooden with Minnesota. I don't need both of them, obviously, but the more players in general we can get, the better. If Pittsburgh gets him, Pittsburgh gets him, but as long as nobody else gets him outside of our 3 teams, of course. Yes, okay, we got John. We didn't mean to get both, but we did get both. Accidentally. It's okay, one of them could just transfer to the other school. Maybe I gotta switch the playbooks up. LSU's 4-4, but they're... man, this is... I'm sorry. Yeah, Pittsburgh's 3-4. Alright, so Pittsburgh again did really well. 81 outside linebacker there. LSU not doing a whole bunch. We got David Harmon, so we signed 3 quarterbacks that year. I meant to spread the wealth, but clearly everybody just really wanted to go to Minnesota. Minnesota got 5th. LSU 11th, Pittsburgh 13th. We got LSU up to 99, but they dropped to a 3-star. Like, where is the middle ground here? Pittsburgh is over the 90 mark now, but they're a 3-star. Minnesota, I'm pretty sure as well. Oh, they're not even a 3-star anymore. They're a 2-star. Like, I can recruit really, really well for all 3 teams, but if they're going to be 3-star schools, then there's really no point in the experiment. I am committed, and I don't care if it takes me 59 years. I'm going to try and get all 3 of these teams 1, 2, and 3. So, I don't know when I'll see you. It'll probably be a very long time in the future. It's 2015 now. So let's see how long it takes for at least all 3 of our teams to be ranked. Oh, Nick Saban retired. Wow, that came out of nowhere, huh? So the conference championship is literally between rank 1 and rank 2. We're not even that good. That's the thing I don't understand. 91, 95, 88. Of all the teams we get into the top 3, it's Minnesota. All right, so now we got 2 teams ranked. Both of them in the top 15 as well. Pittsburgh is really struggling right now. Minnesota now has Lane Kiffin, surprisingly enough. I don't think he's going to be here very long. The head coach we had got fired as well, by the way. First firing we've had in this dynasty. And it was, of course, Pittsburgh. They just drawing the short end of the stick right now. All right, again, Minnesota, LSU in the same spot. We've made Minnesota too overpowered. Now, they're in rank 2 again. Somehow, some way. It's the same Big Ten championship again, us and Penn State. And we're gonna get a win this time, if only we could jump to 1. We did get to rank 1. Oh my goodness, okay. How far away were we with LSU? LSU went 4-8. Pitt went 7-5. We lost the natty anyway, to Syracuse. Of all freaking teams, Syracuse, mate. Oh, we got fired from LSU. Oh, that's cool. So as it stands right now, I think Minnesota's in a good spot. They're probably up to a 6-star prestige by now, because that's 2 back-to-back seasons where they've been ranked 2 in a row. So I'm going to go back to recruiting for LSU and Pittsburgh and see if we can't turn this around. One piece of the puzzle is done. I don't think it's going to last forever. For now, at least, Minnesota is one of the top dogs. If I can somehow just get LSU and Pittsburgh up there as well with a couple good classes, we can save this. We really, really can save this. Okay, Pittsburgh and Minnesota are both ranked to start the season as well, so that's a really good start. You gotta beat Hawaii. Come on, there's so much pride here. Yes, all 3 teams are ranked. Minnesota is not in the spot we kind of want them to be. The thing is, this isn't 1936, bro. Back then, there probably was only 25 good teams in the whole country. Look at Georgia, man. Georgia's gonna flood. Alabama's insane. I'm still committed. I want to go a couple more years to see if we can't pull this off. This is the first time we've seen all 3 teams ranked in the top 25. We're getting very, very close. So this is season 8, 11, 13, and 8. Ooh. Okay, we're right on the tip. Every coach now as well that we have is really, really good. Everybody's pretty much maxed out. Ohio State. This is what I mean. In 1936, Georgia wasn't even on the face of the planet, mate, in terms of football. Minnesota's 91. They're a 5-star school. LSU is 95, 99, 92. LSU's really good. Pittsburgh leaves a lot to be desired. Pittsburgh could be a lot better. The next 3 seasons might be the closest we get. Let's go 2 weeks and see what happens. So we jump up to rank 6. LSU's rank 8. Pittsburgh is rank 11. I don't think Pittsburgh is good enough to go very far in the season. So if we're going to get the screenshot of the 1, 2, 3, we got Iowa this week. I think Iowa's probably going to be a loss. We're up to rank 5. rank 6 and rank 9, all 3 teams in the top 10. LSU has Texas A&M. Pittsburgh has Akron, so that should be a dub. Can we beat Iowa, though? Iowa's 2-0. We're a better team, so maybe there's a chance here. Big win, 42-17. Okay, that has to jump us into the top 3. LSU was like 95-92, so they do have a chance here to beat A&M. Nobody moved. Did get the win at LSU, though. We're 3-0. Okay, so much better than Mississippi State. Mississippi State has an A+ offense, though. We beat A&M by 7, so that's good. Even the coach upgrades will help so much right now. Even if it's just the one upgrade, I'm taking it. Pittsburgh has ranked 12 Miami. Are they better? Miami's better. 34-31. Yes, sir. Oh, but Minnesota had Michigan. That in itself is going to be too much of a matchup. In retrospect, Minnesota's done the best out of the 3 teams, so maybe there's a chance that lightning struck again. Minnesota ranked 3, Pittsburgh ranked 6, LSU ranked 4. LSU has Florida, Minnesota with Penn State, and Pitt has Georgia Tech. That should be a win, though. This Penn State matchup, there's almost been a little rivalry going on here. Penn State is the better team. Massive win. You know what I think it might be? The offense. I gave everybody a new playbook. Everybody's got the same playbook on offense. Okay, LSU jumps Minnesota. Pitt has Virginia Tech. LSU should easily get a win here. And Northwestern, they're 4-1. This is the biggest game. So Minnesota's 6-0. LSU's already in the top 3. Minnesota hopefully joins them this week. So that was definitely the play. We got Minnesota to one of the better teams. And then we retook over recruiting for LSU and Pittsburgh. Got them some top classes, and it seems to be paying dividends. That was an overtime win. Bro, we are 1 spot away. LSU should win again. They've got ULL. Who's in rank 1? It's going to be Ohio State, isn't it? It's Ohio State. And they have Iowa this week, so... Oh, man, we're so close. In the 1936 Week 7, which was the final week poll, Alabama was also ranked 4, and Alabama's not even in the top 25. Just please, Ohio State, just do me this one solid favor and lose. Okay, 44-35, we take those. LSU should flood ULL, even though ULL should be a bit better this far in the future. We're 8 years in. They should be pretty dominant in the Sun Belt, so... LSU does have their hands full here. Still 2, 3, and 4. So the only redeeming factor here is that Ohio State's in the Big Ten. Minnesota should verse them at some point this season. So we would need to verse Ohio State in the conference championship. We've already beat Penn State, so the hard job's done. I mean, there's no reason it even has to go that far. Can we just win out from here? We just need Ohio State to lose 1 game. That's it. When do they verse Michigan? Still 2, 3, 4. Minnesota should be able to handle Nebraska. Let me just get a look here and see. Okay, so Nebraska is pretty good, but I think the playbooks that we have are just paying way too much dividends right now. I don't think we're going to get much further than this. Dude, these close games, man. LSU going to go to 9-0. Please, Ohio State, can you suck for 1 week and lose? Ohio State has Indiana. Have they played against? They have Penn State next week. If only they played Michigan a little bit earlier here. This is the closest I'm going to get. 2, 3, and 4 still. All right, let's just go to the end of the season. 38-28. So LSU going to go 12-0 in the regular season. Pretty sure that week 15 is the week that Ohio State is going to play Michigan. So let's hope that Michigan, Lil Bro of Michigan State, can get this win. Pittsburgh and Minnesota lost. Pitt gonna finish in rank 10. Minnesota, wait, did they beat Ohio State? There's no way, bro. They did. They beat Ohio State. The Natties, LSU, UCLA. So we got to 1, 6, and 10. That's the best we could have done. We'll do one more year. One more good, solid year here. I mean, we're ranked 1 and 3. Pittsburgh does have to catch up, though. That's the only problem. LSU, it's Ohio State again. I don't see them losing for a very long time. We have to jump a lot of teams as Pittsburgh. Luckily, they gave us FCS on the schedule, so that should help out quite a bit. 1, 3, and 7, okay. Enter conference play, though. It's going to make it a lot more difficult. Ooh, hold on a second, LSU. But so we're 1 and 2. Minnesota really has just upped their game tenfold. Pittsburgh is the only team letting us down right now. 1, 2, and 5. Oh my goodness. We're so close. Penn State has not lost yet. We need Pittsburgh to at least play a game to have a chance at jumping up to the third spot. 2 weeks I think is fair. They got to get the win over Duke, which would seem like it's very likely, but it might be a little bit more difficult than what you'd imagine on the road as well. Okay, I'm tripping. 49-17. We have Syracuse, who was in the national championship, what, 2 years ago? They're not ranked, but they're probably still going to be pretty bloody good. Minnesota has Michigan. LSU has Cal. We have Syracuse. Syracuse has an A+ offense, and they're only dropping 27 points per week. That's terrible. Big win for Pitt. Minnesota jumped LSU. Well, LSU has Army, who's 8-2. We have Georgia Tech. That should be a win. We're considerably better than Army, so it shouldn't be a problem here. Surely not. 24-6. LSU ranked 2, 12-0. Pitt lost. Oh, man, they lost. Pitt is going to ruin it for us, unfortunately. They're going to follow it up with a win against Miami. So let it be known that at one point we had 1, 2, and 5. We won the Heisman as well, not bad at all. Minnesota won the Big Ten. We won the Heisman. So all three teams did something very impressive this season. Look at all these awards. Jeez, you'd think Pitt was in the top 3 the way they're getting awards here. We have USC in the national championship. We won an Natty. Nice. We didn't win it with LSU, but we got it with Minnesota. So now they've won in 1934, 1935, 1936, and 2021. The good thing is the teams are performing so well that every year we're getting pretty much maxed out coaches. Auburn's really good. They're better than us at least. No, it wasn't even a problem. There is no reason that we should have beaten Auburn that week. They were the better team. A spread offense with 75 passing is just way too glitchy in this game. 49-46. Could not be much closer of a dubski. Pittsburgh is again letting us down. We're 1, 2, and 7. All right, let's just jump over to Pitt because they're the only team we need to win. They got FAU, then they got UNC. Minnesota must have lost at some point. It's 1, 4, and 7. Okay, well, there's still definitely time to get back into the 1, 2, 3, but no team can lose a game from this point out. And there's the loss right there. They lost to Illinois. How? I just can't get it, guys. It's too difficult. But we got the closest we possibly could. The teams are definitely falling off. I mean, Minnesota's down to a B+. They've gotten worse every single week. This was ultimately the last year that we had a chance at making it because Minnesota's just, they've gotten worse the last 2 years. Pittsburgh's also gotten worse the last 2 years. LSU has maintained. They've done fine. Overall wise, I'm just a little bit worried that, we can't beat A&M consistently, Florida consistently, Georgia consistently, and it's going to be a loss to Iowa. That is GG's right there. We won back-to-back games, so we did well. We beat Nebraska on the road, and we beat Wisconsin, which would have probably bumped us up into the top 15. Iowa beat us, and if Iowa had beaten Ohio State that year, then we wouldn't be in this mess, would we? Fellas, we got 2, 3, and 4, and then we got 1, 2, and 5. So if you made it this far into the video, then you are the real MVP. I hope the rest of your day's awesome, and from me personally, I'm out. Peace.
Sometimes I wonder, can I breathe right underwater? Ooh. Sometimes I wonder, can I speak in outer space? Sometimes I wonder, can I call upon the thunder? Sometimes I wonder, can I make the earth shake? I'm celestial, like in no other way.